wanna tell a story about a shorty go by Auti. I heard that she a baddie and she definitely got body. Princess or a savage, I don't know, but she ain't. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Best Vibe Online. My name is Auti, the real Autumn G, whichever one you know me by. That's me, okay? 9 months ago, I dropped my first vlog. I was supposed to stay consistent. Didn't happen. Because the things I'm gonna talk about, y'all, is like really personal. But I feel like I've gone through these things to share my testimony to maybe help the next person. So some of y'all have met me or knew me before I went through this situation. Some of y'all met me as I was going through it. And some of y'all just be seeing me post a baby that just never grows up, right? And that's because that is my son. His name is Zion. And unfortunately, he passed away. So I'm going to give a little quick rundown of how I met his father. I was hosting an event. I used to do radio and TV broadcasting, and through that I went to music and I was able to do a lot of fun stuff, including host events. So I'm at this event far away from where I'm from, where what would become my baby's father was from. And yeah, we was in Barrington, Illinois. He's from the south side. I'm from the northwest side, west suburbs, whatever you want to say. So it was just like completely out the way. Whole time though, my baby's father literally lived kitty corner from where my grandparents have lived my whole life. So it's just crazy how I met him an hour away, but he's probably been around me like almost my whole life, if not my whole life. So I always like to say, yeah, we done known each other our whole life, even though we didn't meet till we were like 22 and 25. So anyways, we meet at the event. We exchanged numbers. I really thought it was just going to be something fun to do. I was newly out of like a long relationship, my high school sweetheart, whatever. So I was like, okay, something new. He not from where I'm from. Like, you know, he's from the other side of the city. You know, I was geeked. And then like he was like kin to a pretty popular rapper in the city. So it's like, all right, we finna be lit. You know, I was 21 years old. I'm just trying to have fun. So me and my child's father, we ended up rocking. I'm sure neither one of us thought it was gonna go nowhere. And I just remember we spent like that, because I met him in like March. He just turned 25. His birthday's in February. So I met him in March. So like March throughout the summer, we're lit, having a good time. Me and my girls pulling up on him and his homies. You feel me? And I just remember him telling me like, who I am is who I'm always gonna be. And I'm not changing and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, cool. I'm just trying to have fun anyways. And I remember getting to a point where I was like, all right, I don't want to do this no more. So I told them like, hey, like your life doesn't really fit what I'm looking for. Like, I'm cool on this. Mind you, at this point, we had rocked the whole summer. So I believe in like September, I was breaking things off with him, okay? So I was like, I'm cool on this. I don't want to do this. It was fun, but you know, whatever. And I'm sure he didn't care because I was just something to do while it was nothing to do probably, or just something else to do. So I remember telling him like, we're done. And then I obviously had a job, and everyone at my job was like, girl, you're glowing. And I used to be part of the itty bitty titty community. I still don't have really big boobs, but I definitely didn't have any then. They're like, your boobs are growing. Stop. Mine was on birth control. So I was like, first of all, I ain't been having sex. Second of all, I'm on birth control. And third of all, no. Okay, so everyone's telling me. So I'm finally like, all right, everybody ain't just saying this just because, like, let me just go check this shit out. Because I really was under the impression like, okay, you on birth control, you did your part, you should be good. And me and dude, we really was kind of careful. Although we wasn't using condoms, like after like month 1 or 2, judge me if you want to, I'm just being honest. We were not using condoms, but he definitely pull-out game was strong, okay? So that's how I know my son was supposed to be here. But let's get back. So I go pee on that stick, and then I go pee on another stick. And then another stick. They came back positive. Mind you, I just told dude, I don't want to fuck with him no more. So now I'm just like, okay, what do I do? And me, I believe that it takes two to tango, so it takes two to make a decision. Now, to me, I was like, this man finna tell me, girl, that ain't my baby. Get out my face. I don't even know you. Like, I just knew he was gonna be a jerk. Especially, like, who he's affiliated with. Like, I know he could pull hoes. All he gotta do is name drop. So it's like, girl, you trying to trap me. But lucky for me, he wasn't like that. He was like, well, just do whatever you want to do. Like, if you trying to have a baby, we finna be parents. You not? Cool, whatever, you know? So I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This is the part that I struggled with for a long time, okay? Because I remember I made the appointment for the abortion because I was like, man, I don't even know you. At this point, I had only known him for a total of 6 months, okay? So I was like, yeah, this is easy. So my mama had actually took me to go have my abortion. And I remember on the way there, she was like, you don't have to do this. Like, we got you. And I was like, Mom, I know, but like, you know, I just don't want to do this, right? So we're on our way there and we get there. Now, I don't know how far along I am. To me, I'm estimating like a couple weeks, a month at most. Yeah. Damn, people did that ultrasound. I was like 1 week away from having to make my decision before I couldn't have an abortion anymore. So I was like 3.5 months, okay? I was like, what? So at that point, it was like, you know what, girl? There's a head, feet, arms. Like, my baby was fully developed. And I was like, I can't do this. So I go home. At this point, now we're preparing for a baby, okay? I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a 22-year-old mama. Like, this was not in the bingo cards for me, but we finna do it. So I remember I was a little bit ashamed, I'm not gonna lie. And this is also what was really hard for me because it was like, I'm 22 and pregnant. I felt like I fell into everything everyone saw for me. And I didn't even know his dad that well. So for me, it was like, when I have a kid, I would like it to be with somebody I love. And it was planned. And you know what I mean? Like, and this just was not what I had in the cards for me. So it was just really tough. But it was also nice to know that, like, my child's father wasn't being an asshole to me. Was he there the way that I feel like he could have been? No, but we also were strangers. So we were learning each other as people, as friends, as now mother and father to a child. Like, it was a lot, and we were young. We was young. I know I wasn't no teen parent, but I'm 22. He's 25. Like, you know. So I remember hiding my pregnancy. Now, my family, I'm sure they knew. They were saying little stuff. I remember being at Thanksgiving. They were saying little stuff. And Christmas. And I remember right after Christmas, like, it may have been like December 30th, I ended up in the hospital. So there's going to be 2 parts to this, okay? But because the hospital experience was just something completely beautiful. I'm so thankful for I'm so thankful for my roommate, but we're going to talk about her in another video because I still got to talk to her, make sure it's okay I share her business. But I end up in the hospital right before New Year's, and these people ain't trying to let me go. I'm like, I'm going to spend my New Year here. So at this point, this was my announcement to everybody. I told everybody I'm pregnant, like, you know, whatever. So I spent like a week and a half in the hospital because they was not letting me go. My son was trying to come, okay? Mind you, I had missed 3.5 months of prenatals and just the proper care. And then the next 2 months was going to be catching up. But, like, you know, it was just a lot. It was a lot. So I remember being in the hospital. I spent a week and a half in there. And I was just ready to go. I was ready to go, y'all. I wanted to get out. I was losing my mind. And January 9th comes. And I'm just laying in my bed. And let me see. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to... This part's a little bit of a blur because everything just happened so fast. So January 9th comes, and I remember my mom and her friend being there for me. And I start having contractions, and I'm only like barely 6 months at this point. So I just made it to where we have a 50% chance of my son surviving, right? If he's born early, well, whatever. So I remember my mom being there. The doctors put me on magnesium to stop like my contraction and my labor. If I'm wrong, y'all, if you know how this goes, correct me, but I think this is what happened. They gave me magnesium to try to stop my labor, and it worked. It did, y'all. I fell asleep. My mom was able to go home. I said, go home, like nothing's gonna happen. And I just remember waking up screaming. Y'all, I had went from 2 centimeters to 9 centimeters in my sleep. Maybe 7 or 9, something like that. But I woke up screaming. And I remember I have seen 2 people kind of like, one be in labor and then one give birth. And I remember my best friend Ann saying, I'm gonna this baby's coming. Feels like I'm gonna shit. And I felt that, y'all. I felt that. I was like, oh no, this baby's coming. Mind you, I had a catheter in because they was not trying to let me do nothing. Nothing. So I had a catheter, and so the nurse is like, well, I have to check. I said, you don't have to check. I know I ain't had no baby before, but I heard this before. So say, no, I have to have the doctor come check. I said, oh my God, I'm going through it. I'm pissed. Nobody's there with me because I told everybody to go home because nothing was going to happen. And the doctor comes and puts her hand on me and says, oh my God, this baby's coming. I said, I told you. So they rushed me to the delivery room. I remember being all alone, and nobody's fault, y'all. It was nobody's fault. But thank you to the nurse that was there. I don't even remember her name, but there was a nurse that did not leave my side. But I remember pushing. It was a Black doctor, so I was so thankful because I know she tried. So I remember pushing, and then I just remember the doctor saying, the umbilical cord is wrapped around the baby's neck, because I didn't know what I was having, y'all. The umbilical cord is wrapped around the baby's neck, and I can't get it from around his neck. So from there, I remember them saying, we're going to have to do an emergency C-section. Now I'm scared. I'm by myself. And I just remember the doctor writing on the like bed with me. Her hand is still in me because she's trying to hold my baby in me. I remember getting to the room, and everything happened so fast. And they said, count down from 3. And all I remember was saying 3, and I was knocked out. And then when I woke up, I see my mom and I see my dad. And I seen everyone looking at me. I think I got slapped out of my sleep at this point. I was just knocked out too long. I remember waking up and getting the news that my baby didn't make it. It was a little tough because at that moment, I was like, why I just didn't have the abortion? Like, could have avoided all of this. And yeah, and that was the beginning of what seems like it's going to be a lifetime of healing. I am going to do a part 2. This is a lot for me right now. So enjoy, or I don't know if you're going to enjoy this, but I'm done. On part 2, I would tell y'all the aftermath, but I'm just done for today. So yeah, I woke up and my baby was gone. But my people was there for me, my mom, my dad. My son's dad didn't make it till a little bit later because whatever. But yeah, so that's the story about my baby, y'all. I woke up and my baby was gone. I'm gonna get more into this in a part 2. I didn't think it was gonna be this hard, but yeah. I heard she just wanna get some money with her baddies.